Firefighters in California are working to stop the spread of multiple wildfires burning in Los Angeles. Those flames have caused the most destructive natural disasters in the city's history. At least 5 people have been confirmed to be dead. Thousands of people are under evacuation orders as a result of those blazes. At least 5 wildfires are burning across the county. This map shows the biggest named fires and some of the historic landmarks that they pose a threat to. The Palisades fire on the left has torched over 17,000 acres of land, and it is still 0% contained. As you can see, it is nearly right on top of the famed Santa Monica fishing pier. And the Sunset Fire, you see it next to it. That's burning in the Hollywood Hills, right between the Hollywood sign and the famed Getty Museum. Powerful winds have fanned those flames. They cause them to spread rapidly. Coupled with the dry conditions on the ground, houses in the area have been igniting like tinder, leading to this type of widespread destruction that you see on your screen. Officials say thousands of homes and businesses have been destroyed across the Los Angeles area.
We continue to confront a big one-level firestorm. Historic winds and extensive drought have created a perfect storm that has driven people from their homes and have taken people's homes, and that has taken people's lives.
Well, we want to show you a live image right now. This is Mount Wilson, and you can see how much smoke and damage is being done in the area. And as a note, actually, that is where our friends at KCAL, their transmitters are located. They have done tremendous work there covering this fire. We want to actually bring you back over to CBS News Los Angeles' live coverage of that devastation being caused by the fires.
Useless.
And from the looks of your property, I mean, it seems like you did everything right. You had all the clearance behind your house and around your home, but nonetheless, the fire just swept through here.
Yeah, when we were leaving, we could see it surging on the ridge over there above Avison, the school where my daughter went to for elementary school. It got destroyed. And when I came back the first time, I actually saw what was basically like sheets of embers just flying everywhere across the street and in the driveway, and it looked impossible. And I think that there was just no way for anybody to prevent this. Yeah.
You and your family left Tuesday night when the fire broke out.
Yeah, that's correct, at about 8:15.
Can you kind of share with us, you know, what happened that night, the decision process, and what you were able to gather?
Sure. So around 8 o'clock, my neighbor next door, Chris, knocked on our door, and he wanted to tell us about the fire, which we'd already gotten the alert to. So I walked down to the end of our driveway, looked at the fire, immediately thought about some friends of ours who live really close to that. So I jumped in the car to drive to their house to make sure they knew and to see if they needed anything. They were already on their way out. They packed their car. They'd lost power. And at the moment when I saw it, there were so many fire trucks, so much emergency equipment there that I actually thought, oh, this will be okay, despite the wind that we were feeling. By the time I got back to the house, my wife and my kids were already packed in the car because they'd been getting the alerts, and they were terrified, understandably. And so we kind of loaded up quickly. I think our belief at the moment was that this was only going to be for a night or two. We really didn't think that this evacuation was going to be this profound. And so then we spent that night at a school. A friend of ours works at a private school, and she was able to get us access to it. Her house was also in an evacuation zone along with another friend. And so we all took refuge at the school. We've been sleeping there for the last couple nights.
I talked to another neighbor who said he just got out with the clothes on his back, and so important documents, baby pictures, social security cards, all that stuff gone. What's the situation with your family? Were you at least able to get photo albums or baby pictures or birth certificates?
No, literally the same. It was just so immediate. It's kind of comical. The shoes I'm wearing are the worst shoes for something like this. And normally I'm a kind of person who's very prepared and likes to go into situations, do it with all the right equipment. Actually, all my equipment is up there and burnt. And so I didn't even have the right shoes to leave because I just firmly believed we'd be back.
You just left with your clogs?
Yeah, that's it.
in terms of digging through your daughter's bedroom, was that a deliberate choice to start here and perhaps find something to help comfort your daughter? Is that why, or is that's just the closest spot that you can get to for the time being?
It's a bit of both. I think it's the safest spot. There's some little gas leaks down there, and I want to avoid those. And there's some embers underneath that I noticed. And I also was really hoping, I don't know how realistic it is, that I might just come across something shimmery. So my daughter had a little jewelry box that she got over Christmas that she really loved, and she filled it with all her jewelry. And so I thought maybe I could find some of that, because I know where it would be. It would be underneath this ash. But so far, no luck. But yeah.
I can certainly empathize with you trying your best to find some sort of comfort for your daughter. Speaking of which, I mean, how is your wife, or how are your wife and your kids, how are they holding up during this time?
I think we're all in shock. You know, it kind of hits us in waves. This morning I woke up and the reality of it all just seemed to overwhelm me, and I just sat there in a stupor for a little while before I could really function. My daughter, I'm not going to let her see this, because I don't think it would help her. My wife, when she was in college, lived in a building that burnt, and she lost everything once before. And as we were leaving, she just turned to me and said, "I can't have that happen again." And to see it happen again, it's just, yeah. It's kind of devastating. And over there's a whole wall where I used to collect books. Maybe I could say I still do, hopefully. And I had about 4,000 books in the house, and so they're all just completely gone.
Yeah, as a lover of books, I can completely empathize with what you're talking about. In terms of, I don't know, shielding your daughter or shielding your wife from all of this, I mean, what's your plan to kind of blunt some of the heartache for them?
Well, sadly, her school is destroyed, so she doesn't have that community to lean into when things start to normalize, and so I don't know how that's going to play out. I had one of my very, very good friends from college messaged me this morning and told me that his family house that he grew up in, nobody's living in it right now, and it's in Connecticut, and he offered it to us. And we're thinking that right now we could literally just get in that car and drive anywhere or go anywhere, because we have nothing to take with us. And so I think part of what we're thinking is where we could go just to get away from the trauma and rebuild a bit, and then come back and reconnect with everybody that we love out here. We have such a strong community. We don't want to leave it, but I think that for our mental health, we kind of have to go just reset ourselves somewhere.
You know, I think it's cliched or colloquial, depending upon how you look at it, but a home is the symbol of the American dream. And I don't know, was this the first home you owned, or for you, you know, what's the meaning behind this home for you?
This was the first home that my wife and I ever came home to, where we both would walk inside and just say, we love it here so much. We love the community. We love the feeling of walking into the house. We love the light in the living room. We love the silence of the bedroom. So in many ways, this was like a dream space to be in. And even just the location, for people who've never been here before, it's a spectacularly beautiful area, but it's so vulnerable. And I think now we're getting to experience just how vulnerable and brutal it can be too.
Well, I'm certainly sorry to hear that you're considering moving away, and I thank you for being so gracious to us. And after hearing that, I think the best thing for me to do is to just give you some space and give you a little bit of a break. So thank you for sharing those thoughts and emotions, and I know they're very raw right now, and it's so gracious of you, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Carlos. So if I may, why don't I just give Carlos some space, and if I may, I'll just send it right back to you on the anchor desk.
All right, Jeff, thank you. And, you know, we keep going back and forth, two huge fires, from the Eaton Fire back to the Palisades Fire.
Right now, let's go to our Michelle Geely, who is live on PCH at Will Rogers State Beach. Michelle.
There is a home burning on the hillside behind me here. You can see black smoke just within the last couple of minutes. It turned to this. We saw raging flames for the past, say, 10 minutes or so. And the super scoopers, it's an amazing shot to see the two of them in tandem flying over the Pacific Ocean, then dipping into the water, picking up that ocean water and flying back into the hillsides to put out fires there. We just arrived in the Pacific Palisades, and when you look out to the ocean, it is a beautiful sight, really such a contrast to what we see across the street here. Behind me is Tahitian Terrace, and when you look up into the hill here, onto the hillside, you can see just how many homes are lost. Now, we bumped into a gentleman by the name of Alex Cole, and Alex, I'm going to invite you in here. Alex has been walking this morning from Santa Monica. He lives in Malibu, right next to Moon Shadows. He has not been home since the fire broke out here on Tuesday. And Alex, you tell me that you are headed on foot to your house. You think it may be there?
Yes. So we saw some video yesterday, potentially, that the house is still standing. There was a pocket of 6 homes that were standing, and we're thinking that ours is one of those homes. Everything to the left is burned. Everything to the right is burned. So I hope last night it didn't burn, but we're hoping that it's still there.
So tell me about Tuesday. You say that you have not been home since then. You were at work in Studio City when the fire broke out, and you obviously couldn't get back in.
Correct. So I was at work. I found out about the fire. I couldn't get in. So I was trying to get in yesterday, couldn't get in. Tried to come in today, couldn't get in. So I wound up parking my car in Santa Monica and been on foot with my brother trying to make it to the house, and maybe we're hoping for an escort, but so far no luck. We're just walking, and we got to see if it's still there.
Okay, and here is one of the super scoopers. We'll see if Tim can grab a shot of it coming over the ridge there. They're just back and forth into the ocean, and that must give you some hope to know that there is an active firefighting going on right now today as we see even more homes burning.
Yes, we love this. We wish we had more of those, but we love what's going on, and I see a lot of, we've probably been walking for about 3 hours, and I see a lot of fire trucks from all kind of counties, different departments, and Northern California, Phoenix, Vegas, all over. And there's hundreds of people, hundreds of police, and I saw dozens of trucks. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing, and I have hope that the house is going to be in good shape and standing.
So we know that you're about 4 doors north of Moon Shadows,
Correct.
And as we reported yesterday, unfortunately, Moon Shadows is one of the many places that was lost. But you have hope to believe, based on video that you've seen, that there are a few houses there that are standing, including yours and some of your neighbors. Have you spoken to anybody who lives near you?
So I spoke to both my neighbors, one to the left and one to the right of me. I shared the video that I saw online yesterday, which looks like our homes are still standing, but nobody got confirmation that it is. So we said whoever knows first will let the other know. But we're all praying that our houses are still standing.
Living right there on the ocean, and you've been there about 5 years, you said, did you ever dream that your house, I mean, so many people who are right there on the ocean never thought that theirs might be taken down in a fire like this, because you don't live in the hills with a lot of vegetation and all that, but with winds like this.
Never would I thought that we'd be this type of situation. It's just horrible, especially we're oceanfront. I have no idea how the fire jumped and got into Moon Shadows and burned it down. It's just horrible. It's been there for so many years. I mean, I go there a couple of times a week. It's horrible to see it go, and I feel bad for all the people that lost their homes, and I'm hoping I'm not one of them, but you know, I gotta be prepared for the worst.
Well, Alex, I hope you get some good news, and I thank you so much for talking to us.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, you guys, the fire continues to burn up there on the hillside behind me. We haven't seen the super scoopers dropping in that area. It seems like they're going deeper into the hills. And just to point out, the air quality, as you know, is so bad today. most people are wearing masks. And the other thing that we're noticing is more and more people coming in on bicycles, on Lime bikes, on Lime scooters. They're trying to make their way into the area to get answers. People are desperate to find out whether their homes are standing. So people know that they cannot, necessarily get their cars past these roadblocks, so they're trying to use other means to get inside here to try and find out whether they have anything left. That's the latest live in Pacific Palisades. I'm Michelle Gili. Back to you.
We can certainly understand all of those folks' frustration out there. Michelle Gili, thank you so much.
All right, we want to get back to the Eaton Fire now. Our Joy Benedict is live in Sierra Madre at, I guess, Star Touch and Carriage Drive. Joy, this is a residential street.
Yes, this is a neighborhood. We are very close to the hillside right now, where the Eaton Fire continues to burn up in the hillside. But I want to show you this street. As we mentioned, this is Star Touch Street. We have several homes that are unfortunately gone here on this street, probably about 4 or 5 that I see on the south side of the roadway. If you want to take a look at all of these homes, as you go across the street here closer to Carriage Drive, we also have a home that is burned, and that seemed to be the last one, as the rest of them here, as you're heading in the westbound direction, seem to be still standing. And that is really good news, especially for Bernard and Lucy, who live here right on the corner. They lost one home directly to the east of their home, but the one on the west, and their home is still standing. And hi, thank you so much for taking a second to chat with us. How are you guys doing?
We're incredibly lucky. We're incredibly grateful. We could tell when we got here yesterday morning that, in fact, firefighters really did an awesome job of fighting back flames from the east side, because we could see their hoses. They'd used our hoses, and that was the side that took out our fence, and unfortunately our neighbor lost their home. But we think that by mitigating, by the fact that we had luckily taken down big pines on that side, big hedge this last year, probably saved us from that side. And also the fact that, we really try our best to have the right kind of plant material on our yards to be somewhat fire resistant. But boy, we're just by the grace of God. That's it.
I mean, really, that seems what it is for so many here in this community. By the grace of God, one stands and one does not.
I do think that, if we, and also, the possibility about this power transformer line up here, it might have went off, probably flamed up our palm trees, and might have caused all the brush to burn on the back side of our hillside. We had a lot of shrub on that side that went all off, but we have a pool, so there was probably some fire break. So fortunately, our home is good.
Now, let me ask you this. You guys did evacuate on Tuesday night. What did it look like when you were leaving, and why did you make that choice?
Well, we'd heard the news that there was a fire in Eaton Canyon, and that was at about 7 o'clock, 7:15. Walked outside, and I could see from standing on the sidewalk fire going up the mountain ridge and red sky. And I've lived here long enough that when it looks that close, it's time to evacuate. We quickly packed up, and we were out of here by about 7:30. So that was within an hour, and it was gusty winds, true firestorm, debris flying every which way. People starting to exit, people coming to be looking up on, parking up on along here, just looking and trying to film with their cameras, just trying to look at the mountains and the fire. But
you didn't want to risk it.
No, and plus we had to go to evacuate and also try to come back, and we did come back to get another vehicle. This is my parents' home, so we had 3 vehicles to have to manage, and so we were fortunate to get back in and get back out again. And we're so lucky. We have family nearby in San Marino, so that's where we've been evacuated to, and we are here today, but we didn't learn about the condition of our home until early yesterday morning. And
looking around you, the ones across the street have burned, the ones to the
south.
Yeah.
Once we heard on the news that Valley Lights homes had been burning, we thought for sure our homes were lost because we figured it had come through Star Touch and then onto Valley Lights below. So I was not hopeful, but you know, we were so lucky. We're so heartbroken for our neighbors. These were newlyweds, just bought this home 6 months ago. And I am so sorry that, you know, all of these neighbors on this eastern end of our street, homes were just destroyed. You know, whether it came up from something from below onto their property, hard to say, we don't know. But
or just embers flying in the air,
flying,
which is what we saw a lot of.
Right, and you know, we haven't even looked down Mitchell-Linden to see how far the loss is. It's just been overwhelming. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are both okay, and glad that your house is okay.
We are so grateful. A shout out to the firemen who saved our home, and I am eternally grateful. So, thank you.
I'm glad to have a happy story after so much devastation these last few days. I got to be honest with you. It is nice to come up here and see homes still standing, because a lot of folks, especially in Altadena, don't get that today.
Yeah,
right?
I grew up in this home since 1970 when my parents bought this home. I bought this home 20 years later, and we've been here for close to 30 years now. So it's been a long time here in the ranch.
Now, you guys don't have power, do you? Or what do you? Yeah, no power. Do you have water? No water?
We have water.
You're not supposed to drink it?
We're not supposed to drink it, but water came on at about 11 yesterday morning, so we started wetting down everything as we could, because we didn't know with this big gas leak, you know, what could flare up and flame up if something happened.
Well, take the little victory, or the big victory, which is a big home.
I am so much more comfortable today than I was yesterday.
Well,
so
that is good news. Thank you guys so much for sharing your story with us, and hang in there.
Thank you.
Again, it's great to hear the heartwarming stories, as we have just heard so many that are not heartwarming, that are just devastating, and it's not hard to see the devastation right here across the street. But when you have one that is a good one, we're going to call that a win. I'll send it back to you guys.
Certainly, and it is wonderful to be able to share some of those wins. All right, well, you know, making this firefight more difficult, of course, has been the wind.
Yeah, Paul Diano, earlier this morning, we had a brief respite from these powerful winds, but not right now.
Well, I guess we'll call it 3 tiers of wind. We had that crazy, insane tier of wind on Tuesday and Wednesday, 70, 80, 90, 100 miles per hour. Thankfully, that is likely to not come back. Then we went down to last night and early this morning, almost nothing, even less than normal. That would be great if that stayed. It's not. Now we're ramping back up to something in between, where it's going to be breezy to windy. It's going to continue to spread the fires that have already started, but it's not as insane as it was a couple days ago. So we're seeing a number of 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, which is a lot stronger than this morning, but a lot weaker than it was on Tuesday and Wednesday. Those spots are specifically Simi Valley and Camarillo, eastern Ventura County, the Santa Clarita Valley, in the mountains, that's Wrightwood, and also in Riverside. These winds will likely continue to increase throughout the afternoon and the evening. In spots where there's not much wind and there is so much smoke being sent from the San Gabriels right now back toward metro LA County, and the air quality is not just bad, it's horrible in some spots. And frankly, to a level, anything above 150, you shouldn't be spending more than just a couple minutes outside. And we all had those masks from COVID. Maybe you still have some at your house. Grab them, use them for you and your kids. You don't want this stuff in your lungs if you don't have to do it. So Pasadena, Los Angeles, Studio City, and Culver City, the air quality is higher, worse than 150. The lower the number, the better the air quality. The higher the number, the worse the air quality. So we don't want numbers like this. Anything over 150 is considered unhealthy. Long Beach, you're almost there. Culver City, Studio City, LA, much of the San Fernando Valley, all of the San Gabriel Valley is within that unhealthy air quality. Let's move forward with the weather story now. Here's what's next, our next weather headlines. The next about 3.5 hours, now through 4 o'clock, the winds are slowly ramping up once again. It's still an offshore wind. That's not changing until this weekend. The strongest winds this evening will not be where the current fires are burning, so I guess that's a bit of good news. It will, however, be in the Inland Empire and Orange County. Now, just because you have multiple fires burning, it does not reduce the fire danger in places where there haven't been fires yet. It's not like we hit a maximum and then we're done. Inland Empire, Orange County, you will have critical fire danger this evening and overnight tonight. And even if you take the wind out of the equation, it has been so dry and our vegetation is so tinder dry right now, the fire danger is going to stay elevated till it rains. And it has not rained virtually at all so far.
Well, we continue to watch live coverage from CBS Los Angeles as multiple wildfires continue to burn out of control throughout the county. So many in shock. Personal stories from residents dealing with wildfires. We saw Carlos in clogs, the shoes that he fled in, trying to shield his family from the emotional devastation of seeing their home burnt. And in a testament to a father's love, he was searching for his daughter's jewelry box, a Christmas present. He found nothing but ash. Another resident, Alex, walking already 3 hours, hopeful that his is among a pocket of 6 homes he saw in news footage that was still standing. And some other bad news. The winds there are slowly increasing again.